imagine it and you will have it. And I know a lot of people don't believe in some of these things. They call it crap because they are so. I don't know what adjective. I'm looking for an adjective now to they just limit everything about life, to just what the religious scriptures, book, doctrine, or whatever, they just limit it to there, whatever it stipulates to them. To them, that is what this physical life is all about. So I'm going to give you an example and using myself and something that at least some of you already know, but may not know how they came about, or that can easily be verified. Rather than some of the things that happen in my personal life that some majority may consider lies. So no point bringing them up. Okay, so well, I know it was sometime I was in the university at that time, probably 2003, 2004, something like that. It was my final year, or my final year at the time, I think so. So then I was living in Awka. Awka is in Anambra State, it's a capital city in Anambra State, in Nigeria. So I was going to, I was going to school, yes. I was on my way to school that day. I wasn't driving that time because that time I was using Peugeot 504 GM. So that particular day, wow, I'm just admiring this Peugeot 407 Coupe V6, so that matter, I think. It appears so. So on my way, I was driving. Then I got to Imane Emeka Street. For those of you who live in Awka, you may know the street I'm talking about. It's actually very close to the temporal site of Nnamdi Azikiwe University at that time. I actually live around that place anyway. So on that street, Imane Emeka Street, so as I was walking down, something just caught my attention. So there was this Peugeot 505 silver color. It was just driving up. I was walking down. The street is kind of like this. So as I was walking down, the vehicle was driving up. The whoever that was driving the car. So the car was coming up, slowly. It was a street, so it wasn't like speeding. So the car was very clean. As in, like I said, it was like in 2002, 2003, 2004. So at that time, 505 was already faded, or has already faded out of the market. So the only people that could be using it were the ones that bought it years before that time, people that bought it foreign used. So this particular one was actually foreign used. It was so obvious that it wasn't produced in Nigeria, So it was just so clean, as in silver, phase 2, not even phase 1. So I just, right there, at that spot, I fell in love. I just kept looking at the car until it passed me. Even when it passed me, I kept looking back. I turned my head, kept looking. So right there, I fell in love with Peugeot 505 phase 2. Then it wasn't really about the engine, because I didn't know, I know the petrol engines in them, the carburetor ones, but for the fuel injections, I didn't even know much about them, the EFIs. That was when my own 505 manifestation started. Or in other words, that was how I came to have my own. Now remember, I said silver. So since then, I started to always imagine myself. You know, it wasn't like I'm doing it consciously that I said, okay, let me do this. But, you know, it became so an excite. It's not like, okay, yeah. Excitement, yeah, but then an activity that I was enjoying. Yeah, I was excited doing it, you know, but like I said, something I always want to carve out time, whatever I will be doing, you know, during that period, you know, just to be imagining, just in my mind, thinking, I'll be sitting inside, this is mine, this and that. Exactly, you know, I was that same color. That same color that I saw that time, phase 2, you know, the way it was and everything, with the alloy wheel that the car came with. So I was imagining it. Guess what? The demand has been made. The request has been made. Eventually, I got one. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I thought about this years before. So, let me now go and buy it. No. Just all of a sudden, I was like, hey, I need to get, I need a car. And then it was a 505. And guess what? It wasn't even the color that I had in mind at that time that I said, okay, I want to get a 505 now that I can financially buy one. And I want a fully used one, you know. So it wasn't like I had that particular saver in mind when I was searching for one. But guess what? At the time eventually I got one, it was just like an identical vehicle that I saw that time, that particular day, that particular moment, or those moments in 2003 or thereabout. Remember, eventually I got my own 505 in 2010 without even being so specific about the color. Even though, yeah, I was saying, okay, if you find it, but I wasn't specific. But eventually, by the time the one mine came up, it was identical of that color that I saw years back. I remember even before that, I think within that same time, maybe in 2004, I am very sure because no, I was already in final year at that time. So there was this particular street that is very close to this secondary school. It was the boys' secondary school. They call it Igwebike Grammar School. For those of you who live in Oka, Anambra State. So, so there's this Pojo mechanic workshop that was also close. Okay, no, not close to where I live, but it's actually trekkable. You know, at that time I enjoy trekking. No matter how long, I just trek. So I was, what will now happen? There was this particular Peugeot 505 V6. It's red in color, American spec, 1989 model. At that time, I didn't know it was even 1989 model, but because of the design. So it was later on that I realized it's like 89. So it's a V6. It has that V6 badge with 2.8 I, you know, by the side. You know, so that's 2.8 badge, 2.8 I badge by the side with the front the fender. So do you know, because of I was just every day, okay, I won't say every day, but I know almost every now and then I would trek all the way from my house to pass that, just to walk across, you know, walk and pass that vehicle. Sometimes I'll just, after I'll look at it, turn back. You know, I was just imagining myself, not that I love that particular color, but I was just imagining, wow, V6, imagine what you'd be like in a 505. I would like to have, you know, a 5, you know, like, you know how imagination works. You just see yourself inside the vehicle. You know, you hold the picture of that car in your mind. Then you see yourself inside the vehicle, driving to somewhere, coming out, looking at the car, opening the bonnet, doing this, you know, inside the car. You know, it's just in your mind. You'll be living that life. It became, I wouldn't say I was obsessed, but it was just something I was enjoying doing. Guess what? The first one I saw that even made me capture that became attractive to me, made 505 to become attractive to me, was silver. Now the second, the engine. Now the first engine that made me attracted me or made me choose. Actually, there were two engines, but eventually the one became, I was more excited of one of the engines, because then I was thinking of GTI, but later the V6, So it was that particular one I was always passing all the time, imagining myself, being the owner or driving, just living that life of car ownership in my mind. I was taking that far. It was that far. Anybody that knows St. John of God Secondary School, where I was living that time, to that BK Grammar School, anybody that knows the DISA will understand what I mean. I was almost doing it like daily, or at least once a week. Whenever I get the opportunity, I'll trek to that place just to see that car and feel good, feel excited. It was abandoned. Actually, I get something like that. Secondly, let's talk about 605. So this also happened at Oka. 90, no, I don't think it's 90, it's around that 2000, the year 2000 to 2003 or thereabout. So this Peugeot mechanic, his workshop was at Regina Shelley, is it Avenue or Road? Forgotten. Regina Shelley Avenue or Regina Shelley Road. The point is, that road in front of that Regina Shelley hospital, yes, Regina Shelley Hospital. So that road, so his workshop was there at that time. It was a Peugeot mechanic. I don't know whether he still does that now. So that's where I was taking my Peugeot 504G at that time. So at one point, I now came and saw one red. I don't know, I think it's more like us blood red or just red color Peugeot 605. That was the first time I saw that vehicle. The very first time I saw Peugeot 605. I didn't even know such a vehicle exists. Yeah, I was seeing 405. Like I said, this happened between 2000 and 2010, but I never knew that there's something bigger than the 405. So I became so much interested. So each time even when I don't even have any car, I don't have any cost to take my car to his workshop to repair or stuff like that. Normally, when that time, if I have any work that is beyond me, I'll take it to him. We'll do it together. That's how we were doing it then, because I was doing most of the work too myself. So sometimes I will just to see that car, I will go pass through that street. When I get there, I will slow, my pace, reduce, and just look at the car, pass, imagine. Sometimes I'll just go to enter his workshop, greet him. The car was actually parked inside his workshop. It was parked at his neighbor's workshop beside his. So I'll use the opportunity, just enter, greet him, talk, then I'll go to that one. Walk around it, look at it. It was as if I was the owner of the car. The way I'll go there, I'll be looking at the car, though I wouldn't open it. So until one day, something that caught my attention, and I noticed that because the car was actually parked, and the way it was parked, it looked abandoned. They jacked up the vehicle, they moved all the tires and that. So from this front end, the right front of the side of that vehicle, so I now looked, because the tire was no longer there, so I could now see the crankshaft pulley. The crankshaft pulley, all those other bells and all those. I was like, wow, this is weird. As in the position of why would the crankshaft pulley be on this side instead of this side? Considering the Peugeot 504, 505, all those things, their engines are mounted, is it longitudinal? Whatever. So why is he facing this side? So I now went back one day and I asked that mechanic. He said, oh, it's a front wheel drive. So one day I realized that the door was actually not locked, the four doors. So I opened the driver's side. I was, wow, the interior was so big compared to my 504 GL, so massive. The gadgets, of course, even though you might say 605 doesn't have much gadget, but at that time, compared to the 504, come on, it was like an aeroplane. The interior was like a cockpit. So I always stare at it, look at it. I was also imagining it, stuff like that. Guess what? The day I said, it was, I think, like I said, 2000, 2004. Now, fast forward, 2011, I was like, hey, a thought just crossed my mind. The way this thing works, boom. I would like to own a Peugeot 605. It was something I imagined, lived in my mind years back and even forgotten about. One day, boom, entered online, searched. That same day, I think it was either that day or the next day, that same day I searched. That was the only 605 available, posted online for sale in Nigeria. Exactly that color. I remember that time I was checking out the one, that's the red one. It has a badge at the back, SVE24V. Either SV24V or SVE24V. So at that time, I didn't even know anything about VC, that it was even a V6 engine. So I kept wondering what, I think I asked my mechanic, he now explained that 24 means 24 valves. I was like, wow. I mean, compared to the SN1 engine in Peugeot 504 GL I was driving that time, I was like, wow, 24 valves, imagine. So I was seeing that car like an aeroplane. But even though at that time I couldn't even think or that I could imagine to afford to buy that car, that type of car. But then I was living it in my mind, that I own the car already. Imagine it feels so good wanting it inside my mind. You see, it's not just about thinking, oh, I'm still living it. That's what imagination means. It's like you close your eye and you'll be seeing, as if it's happening. You will not be controlling what's going on. You see yourself opening the door, going inside, starting the engine, driving. So that's how I was doing. I wasn't doing it like, I want to buy this car. Just like I saw that 505. I was doing it, I want to buy 505 today. At that time as a student, or that I'll buy it tomorrow. I was just like, I love this car. I was just enjoying owning it in my imagination. Eventually I got one in 2011. So that 24V or SVE means that V6. 24V. It's virtually the one I saw. And to my surprise, it was also something I could afford. What the seller posted, the price, it was something I could afford. I owned exactly what I saw years back that I imagined in my mind. That I was always looking for an opportunity to go and look at, appreciate. Became mine. Same color, engine. I mean, where do I even go? Fast forward. Now this one happened, I think it was in 2005, between 2005 2006. 2005 2006 or thereabouts. So I was walking. This happened on the Enugu Expressway, same Oka or Anambra State, but along Oka Express. The road passed through Oka City. So I was walking. I was just trekking as usual. Like I said, I love trekking. So I was just trekking and was going. For those of you who still live in Oka or lived in Oka, Udoka Housing Estate is actually very close, almost This, in fact, it's like the wall of that estate. It shares express. This is express. This is the wall of the estate. So the express passed almost directly close to the wall of that estate. So I was just climbing up that hill, because it's actually a hill. So as I was climbing the hill, this thing happened in 2005, I think. Then one car was on high speed. Because I was walking up, going as if I'm going towards Amobia. Amobia is a town. To those who live in Oka, Amobia is a town close to Oka. So I was walking towards that. So the car was coming from that Amobia. It was on express, high speed. It was climbing. So it was already on the hill, climbing down while I was climbing up. So it wasn't not climbing down, but it was descending on very high speed. I just suddenly froze because of how beautiful, I would like call it beautiful. I just, when you see something that you find very attractive, you may not even know how to describe it. Beauty is just a word people use to describe what they feel. So I just saw it. I was like, wow. I just stopped. I was just looking at, as you are moving, you may not really. I just thought so I would be able to, steady my view, my sight, and be able to view what is coming down, or what was coming down. So as it was just descending on high speed, guess what? It was a Peugeot 406, green color. Headlights were on. The car was like a brand new car. Of course, that time, that was the color that was given to the House of Assembly members, State House of Assembly members of Anambra State. They were, so most of them were using it that time. So I wouldn't know. I think maybe that particular one could be the same or not, but it has that same green color. Headlights were on the car. See, as we were just descending, I just fell in love. At that time, of course, it was only brand. You can only get it brand new at that time. But I never imagined me 406 buying. Where would I get the money? Just finished my university. So as it was descending, I was gazing at this car, and it passed with that speed. I kept gazing at it from the, looking back and everything. I imagined it for a while, always thinking towards I only 406. So in fact, that was the first attraction to Peugeot 406. So ever since then, I started looking out for them, to see them. Of course, I've never driven anyone at that time, but just that sight was making me happy, to see one. So I always have that color. That thing was still in my mind. That particular color, that green with headlight on, which I could call it. I wouldn't know whether he put it on intentionally or was just daytime running light. But with that light on was all I needed. It was the only picture in my mind. It didn't have the picture without the light. Just that picture with the green 406 with the headlight on, driving on express with high speed, coming and passed beside me. Like I said, 2005 or thereabout. Fast forward it, 2013. Even though at that time, 2013, just as a sudden whim, I would like to own a Peugeot 406. It wasn't even the color. I wasn't even thinking of buying the looking. I wasn't even asking or searching for one with green color. Eventually, boom! I don't want to go into details. This particular one I'm sitting in just came up at the price I could afford right there. Came up with the same vinyl, daytime running lights that had that picture that time, and also the same color. Same goddamn color, exactly the way I imagined. I saw it that time and imagined it, which made me feel a lot. It became what came out. Of course, when I saw that one, I didn't even know which engine he had. It was later on that I now started to learn about their engines, and now fell in love with the V6 engine and with the manual transmission. Eventually, the package was what came into my spirit. Why am I saying all these things? Call me stupid. Call me, some might say, it's devil that is guiding you. Some might say everything. I'm not telling you don't believe in your religion. I'm saying there is so much about life you don't know. If you are that religious freak that don't want to think of any other thing outside religion, there is so much going on in life that religion does not have answer. So many things you probably have experienced. I know you will still always come back, attach it, or try to find a way to use religion to give credit to religion, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you actually take your time and think, you realize that, see, you as an individual watching this video, you believe in what's it called, law of gravity, right? You believe in so many things. You say, of course, God created law of gravity. So why is it not hard to believe in law of attraction? That is where I'm coming from. Why is it so hard? If you believe in law of gravity, why is it not hard to believe that there is something, that some elements that doesn't care how your beliefs, your spiritual belief or your religious belief controls? Because you want to tell me that all these other people who are not even religious, that are also having good things in life, are you saying is no, the law of attraction only applies to only the Christians, or to only the Muslims, Buddhists, all those forms of religion, practices. To round this thing up, see, make fun of what I just said. Make fun of me for saying that. Doesn't matter. I mean, seriously, it's just like saying, whenever I say I'm a monk, if you could say, you are a monk because you are pathetic, you are sad and pathetic, every woman is rejecting you, so you're now hiding as a monk. Well, look at me very well. Do I look like, if I want a woman, I won't get a woman? No, that's a very stupid thing. So anyway, if you believe that what I'm saying doesn't make sense, you don't have to believe it. It's okay. You can mock me, like I said, say every nonsense you want to say. But if you want a change in your life, because this has nothing to do with any individual except you. If you want a change in your life, ask yourself this question. There is something right now. It could be a Peugeot car. It could be something else. I don't know what it is. There's something right now that you desire to have or desire to experience. I don't know what it is. But probably something else, or there is a condition that is making you not to, I wouldn't use the word achieve. There's a condition that is not making you to have that thing or to experience that thing for now. So what will it cost you to cut everybody else out and do it privately in your life? I said, what will it cost? To be honest, if you are the type that still go online or talk to some, gather people around to make fun, crack joke, this person, he's saying this, that, he believes in this, I mean, you may need to go back to it, because even kids, I could say only children do that kind of thing, which is understandable. I did all those nonsense when I was growing up. You judge people a lot, you do all those things. But as you start growing up, when you become an adult, when you pass through so many life experiences that will teach you so many things about life, that, to even make you question some of the things that you are taught, that you thought was the standard about life, you now realize that all these things were crap, because of things you have experienced which contradicted those things they taught you. So if you are the type that still believe in what the manual says specifically, that this is how life should be, what they taught you in your church, what your pastor taught you, what they taught you in school, You believe that anybody that says anything contrary to that, let's make fun of that person. Honestly, you may need to go back to your mother's womb, because your childishness is very a stupid thing. It's very stupid to be that, if to be an adult and be so childish. Let me put it that way. Otherwise, see, this is an opportunity. Maybe you've never heard about this before. To actually say, okay, what will it cost you? You don't need to tell anybody about what I'm saying. You just practice it in your mind and now ask yourself, was it a lie or not? When after you give it a while. I mean, like I said, it was something I was doing, an exercise I was practicing, even while people will be with me, maybe I'm not talking, but inside my mind I was living it. Or when I'm alone, you know. What is so hard to try it? Or are you saying it's devilish to imagine having, maybe I don't know what you want in life, you want to travel outside Nigeria, maybe travel to a particular state, a particular country, and you probably something is holding you back, or at the moment you can't afford it financially, or whatever it is, and then maybe you go online and see pictures of that particular country, the streets, the houses, structures, you know, what they are. Then you now capture that in your mind, what their street looks like. So once in a while you're alone, even when you are working in your office, you know, you believe in it, you see yourself trekking on that street, you know, living all those things, doing that without anybody even knowing about it, and which makes you feel good, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make you feel bad. This is something you desire so much. When you desire something, it makes you happy, even when you don't even have that thing. But the thought of that, this, even looking at that thing makes you excited or makes you happy, whatever, or however you want to put it. So that alone, is there anything bad to even give it a test? You could be surprised that you may be that week you try it, that it is going to manifest. It's now up to you to now tell yourself, okay, is this guy, was he actually telling the truth? Or was I being very stupid by saying that it doesn't work, let's make one of it? You don't know this thing, it doesn't mean it doesn't happen, or it's not a reality. That's why I don't understand. I mean, I was once a religious man, so I even at that time, there are some things about life I know religion did not have answer to. So what I don't understand is, why are people so close-minded that, see, you don't know this thing. Instead of you to even be curious, even if you don't want to believe in it, or to be curious, or to say, okay, maybe it does actually happen, but I don't want to believe in it, I don't want to follow that step, or I don't want to, you know, it's not something I want to experience or something. It's just by the way. But to just be so close-minded and being stupid by saying, it doesn't work, it's a lie, everybody saying that is shelter. I don't know. I mean, so when I see some men doing that, condemning something, you don't even have any fucking clue. You just wonder, if it's a child doing that, you're like, okay, fine. But when you see adults that are supposed to have experienced things in life, you know, when you were growing up as a kid, there are so many friends or whatever, you know, I'm talking about childs. Yeah, when you are 10 years old, 15 years old, you have other children beside you that we are going to school with. How many of them are saying, like, you all had plans when you were going, I'm going to be this, I'm going to have this. How many of you made it? Some are already, some even died when they were still kids, even though I don't use the word death, you know, but that's the one you understand. Some passed last night, they didn't wake up, some probably today. So, what makes you think you figured it all out from your childhood? You've done everything. Those people, they also have plans. They thought, because at that time they thought they're going to live old, be so old that they won't be able to lift their hand. But they couldn't pass 15 years old before they passed on. Some who even stay alive, maybe at some point they have one terrible accident that they cannot even stand anymore. or they've lost sight, or they lost their voice, or they lost their hand, or they are now bedridden. You know, I don't know. People live in various kind of conditions in life that they never thought they were going to experience. I'm saying you don't really know life. If you think you do, you don't. It's just like, you are even sure you're going to wake up the next morning? What makes you think that people who passed on last night had the experience 2 days ago, or felt that they were not going to live beyond that day? The same way we are talking like this, that's how it is. So stop being a kid as an adult. That's my point. You know, I know people who always question whenever I mention the law of attraction. They talk so stupidly that you'll be like, come on, quiet your mind, even think back. It's very easy. You don't even need to give it a party. Think of some of the things that have happened to you. You realize that at some point you imagine that even when it's negative or positive, or you are talking about it and boom, you came into your experience. So if you want a particular thing, there's nothing wrong in giving it a test. Learn about it, go and read up, go and do your research, do your studies. Then, aside all that external studies or external, I would call it result from other people or whatever that you want to put together to know if it's true or not. Even you right now, when you think back on some of the things, both the positive and negative that happened to you up till now, from when you could even start to tell that this is life. This is because as a kid you may not know someone, you may even understand what's going on until you get the point, you now start to recollect, have memories, you know. So even from that time, maybe from 10 years old till now that you are 30, 40 or whatever, look at some of the things, think back, some of the things that happened to you, both the, like I said, both the positive and negative. You realize that there was a time you know something like this happened, you gave it a thought, let it go, then all of a sudden, boom, 10 years later, 20 years later, 2 weeks later, 1 month later, boom, yeah, it is. You may even look at it now realize that even at that time, you weren't even that religious. For at that time, maybe you are not even praying, you are not the prayer type, you don't even though you believe in God, but you don't take it that serious. Yet, it happened. But even though the other person who we are condemned, see, I'm just wasting my time trying to, yeah, but the truth is, maybe 10 people will watch this video, and out of that 10 people, it will make sense to only one person. Or out of that this 10 video, one person will enjoy, will give it a try and it work for him. So if you are that person, congratulations, that's the best I could say. I mean, look at in the Bible, Noah, right? Noah said the world was going to end and they were building the ship. And the other people came, started laughing at him, making joke of him, making lives. You know, I always tell people that crucified Jesus that time, the current Christians are even worse than those people that did that crucified that man. So it's not about whether I believe in God or believe in Bible or believe in others. I'm not telling you, I'm just using what is the Bible, you know, to give you examples. Because you see some same people doing those things, they will be, you see their actions, see their beliefs, you see it should be so contradictory to what Christianity is all about. What the so-called class-like life they believe they are practicing is, you know, is co-contradiction, so opposite. You know, make fun of Noah, laughed at everything, did everything. Guess what happened? They were begging Noah later on to allow them into the ship when they were already perishing. You know, so why I brought up this Noah story was to let you understand that you don't have to care about what other people are saying. Let them make fun of you. I even intend to do another video to talk about this particular car, you know. Some of the people that made fun of this car, or when I bought this car, or made fun of me, they couldn't even manage to keep their own running for more up to a year before the car became a nightmare. Look at mine. How many years now? I'm going to do a video on that so I understand, you know. So don't listen to my point is you that is going to experience what you desire. So what will it cause you to do it? And now find out if it's a lie or not. Will you experience everything you desire in life before you finally pass on or transition or what people call die? No, you will not. However, it's you that will determine when or how when those things you desire will come to your experience or not. Sometimes it could be that no, it's not the right time, but it's going to happen. Because I'm thinking of it now, I was like, okay, then I was still a student, I was still living under pocket money from my parents. So why would I, even if the car all of a sudden full breathe from the sky, the Peugeot 505 V6, the Peugeot 605 V6, and the Peugeot 407 V6, you know, all these ones that I have, if they are falling out from the sky and fell to the ground, I say, hey, and the voice from the heaven say, Kenna, all these cars are yours. That's why I could maintain them that time. That's it. That's what I'm saying. It's all about, he has his time. He's going to come. It's just that at that time, it came up and you desired it. It will wait until when the time for you to be able to enjoy it. Because that time, if it has happened, I will enjoy it maybe that week. The next week, I may not be able to fuel them. Or I may not be able to change one single part that will come up. At that time, could I even scan? I don't even know what scanning means. So the car will probably just die 1 month later. All those cars, if I have gotten them there. But guess what? It waited till when I could financially maintain those cars, and they started coming into my experience. So whatever you desire, or it could also be that I was the one also pushing it further away instead of coming sooner. With maybe I was having doubts, because that's what even Christianity means by saying faith. Even though faith has some side of that, but that faith, that's the same thing. You know, when your God or your Jesus say have faith, it's going to happen. That's the same thing. That's what law of attraction means. Just the Bible is saying it differently or his own way. Law of attraction is all about saying desire, imagine it, it's done. You are going to experience it, you are going to have it, you are going to have that travel, you are going to, whatever you desire is going to happen to you. Only that, like the Christianity will also tell you, have faith. When you have doubt, you are not going to have that thing, it's not going to happen. But when you have faith, it's going to happen. So when your faith starts quivering, that means that thing may not happen. Or it may take a while until your faith becomes stronger. Same thing with law of attraction. Like I say, it's all about words people use. So when people say, they feel like, oh, if you're not going to church and they're praying, then you will never experience something. So all these people who are not Christians or not religious and that don't practice, what's it called? I don't believe in even paganism or anything. Like myself, nothing. Don't worship or practice or do anything. Don't care in anything. Yet, I'm not trying to be boastful, but I know my life is good as I enjoy them. As in, I'm not lacking anything that will make me feel to say, life is not fair. I mean, I'm good. But I know there are some Christians who probably wish they could even afford to eat a day, not to think of driving, not to think of owning more than one car, not to think of living in a city, not to think, I mean, I could go on and go on and go on. Yet I don't believe in what you do. I don't practice. I don't worship anything. Nothing. I'm not an atheist. Before you go there, I'm not. You know. But I'm just trying to tell you that if there are some things in life, you should know that it's not everything that religion has answer to. Don't leave your religion. That's not my point. But I'm saying sometimes as you are praying to your God to give you this, to grant you this, you also may need to also learn that there are other ways you can get this thing. I'm not saying go out with your God, but understand that the definition of what you might think that this is how to get it may not be exactly what, because other people who are not also that religious, why come they are getting those things? Yet you that is praying every day and night, you are not getting it. Or maybe it comes, or maybe you are getting them. But how come those people are also not? You could say devil. Devil will give it to you when you worship devil, right? Or when you do all those things. Because I know, even though some people say, okay, if you are not religious, it means you are worshiping devil. Yet, your attitude, your actions, your character exhibit more of that devilish one. You lie, you scam people for anything, for money, you tell all kinds of things, you do all those things, you fornicate. Yeah, your Bible said don't fornicate. Or don't commit cheat your wife or cheat your husband. Don't fuck another person's wife. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't have sexual thought. It means you already committed adultery. Or you don't do so many things. So who are you to now start judging another person who don't even engage in any of those things? Who are you? Yet the person you are not saying no, that person is the one that will go to hellfire, not you, who is doing contrary to what even your religion preaches. Why the person you are saying that is not even doing any of those things, and you are the one. So I see these are areas I really want to go to, but sure. All right.